1,170 teams from 19 countries, from 4 continents, close to 400 colleges and universities globally. And TiE chapters from almost 33 global locations are participating in this. So welcome aboard. And you are part of a very, very exciting program, a very exciting journey. And the pitch session is certainly not the end of this journey. It is only the beginning. And the preamble which we are going to go through today is going to talk about how the onboarding is going to be done for this session, the workshops that we have planned for you, and how do we basically help in refining your pitch. And I will hand you over to none other than Mr. Mahavir Sharma, who is a serial entrepreneur. He is part of umpteen businesses and social organizations. He exudes passion in angel investing, leadership, and mentoring. He's a co-founder and chairman of Rajasthan Angel Innovators Network, which is RAIN, and that is Rajasthan's first angel network. He's the chair of TiE India Angels, so he's a very right person for all of you to interact with. TiE India Angels is a national platform for startups to seek angel funding through TiE chapters across India and the globe. As an entrepreneur, he has co-founded Jaipur Kaleen Park, Oscar Expo, Swishen Events, Jaipur Jewelry Show, and many others. He sits as an investor on Horses Stable, which is the biggest startup funding reality TV show in India. So welcome, Mahavir, and I can see that big smile of yours, and I'm really, really excited to have you here. Over to you. Please counsel, groom, refine our student community here so that we can hop onto this train, and hopefully our final destination should be the TiE India Angels funding platform. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Sheenu, for such a elaborate introduction. I don't think was needed. I think just the angel bit, we'll have to edit it next time. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's always a pleasure to interact with the young, bright minds who are eager to innovate, who want to come up with new ideas, new ways to do different things. And I'm quite excited because TiE University is a great program. And as Sheenu said, it's just not local. It's a global program. It reaches out to most chapters. There are participants coming from across the globe. You will be competing against other chapters, other college and university students or recent graduates. So I think it's a great program, and you learn a lot. And eventually you get to go to TiE India Angels, the investment platform that TiE is proud to have, and it becomes an easier conduit or easy way for you to get there. So having said that, I just wanted to quickly brush through what we are looking for in all of you, what we want you to be ready with, what would help you not only in this competition, but also in your startup journey, which might have started or which will start eventually. So I think it's very, very important that you all are aware of what is needed. So first and foremost, of course, at any core startup, it's the idea, it's what is behind it, it's what's the problem, it's what's the solution, it's what are you trying to do. And if there is someone already doing it, how are you doing it differently, and how better you could be, or how easier you could be, or how cheaper you could be. So that core, I presume, you already have decided. Now, to fine tune that, I would like to go a little deeper. All of us come up with different problem statements, and I'll take a very generic example of, I want to bring all the mom and pop kirana stores in tier 3, tier 4 and rural India online and make sure that they deliver. And I want to bring them on a platform. It's a very, very simple idea, but have you gone and validated it? Do you know that a person down in, let's say, Chomu would prefer to be on an online platform when he's selling to people around in his colony, the dal, the chawal, the chini? While you intend to do all of that, do you think that they are ready to do that? Have you seen that there are other people who are trying to do that, who are investing 5 to 10 lakhs in refurbishing their stock? They're making them ERP ready with what's in stock. They're making their billing technology savvy so that they can have real-time stock of what's available, what's not available? Have you gone and done your diligence on what the other competition is doing? And lastly, do you as a consumer sitting in Chomu prefer to go on the phone and go on your app and then order chini, or you would rather say, I'll get it on the way back home? So all these things, and this is so multidimensional, and why I gave this example is it's very easy to have a problem and a solution that one person wants to solve. But are there, and for every core startup that I have seen, there are always two models: the supplier, the buyer, and the platform. Is it a win-win for everyone? Is it needed by all of them? Are you disrupting all the three verticals? This detailing I have seen lacking, irrespective of what the idea is. Building an app for all, whoever on this platform is a tech person, is not difficult. But have you resolved these three core issues where you are making money, the person who's on the platform is making money, and the person who's buying from you or getting the service from you is saving money? If you don't have this resolved, no matter how good your pitch is, no matter how good you are at speaking, no matter how good you are, you will not get funded. You will definitely not win, because I will, or whoever the jury is, will question you on viability, on proof of concept, on revenues, on growth. There's so many modulations, and then you'll get stuck one way or the other. So it's very easy, and it sounds great that you want to bring Bharat on a digital platform. And same goes for, I can go into every sector, from agriculture to biotech, to pharmaceuticals, to medical devices, to education. Everyone's trying to solve the similar problems, but no one has gone to a situation where whether or not it works for all the three partners that the startup has. I mean, if there are more partners, obviously, if it's B2B2C, you need to have a fourth partner who needs to be satisfied. So all that is very, very critical before you even start to put everything together and put your time and energy in building the tech, the portal, the website, the app, whatever you're trying to do. So this is something very, very core that I have to tell you, or kind of warn you, is should be clear in your mind. Otherwise, consider this as just a rehearsal where you are learning how to pitch, you're learning how to make a business plan, where you're going on a platform and seeing what questions are asked, and you can go on from there. And just consider this as a mentoring platform. You will learn something, you will listen to other pitches, you will see how good or bad they are, you will get ideas, and you can move on, and then eventually create a startup in a different field or different module or a different time zone, if that's what you need. So that's something that's very core. Now, as you go on, obviously, and you're pitching, you need to work on multiple things. I don't know how many of you are technology background. I don't know how many of you are finance and commerce background. I don't know how many of you are designers that will create a good UI UX. I don't know how many of you are from the commerce background and who could see unit economics and work. So all these four elements that I've just mentioned: technology, finances, UI UX, and of course the unit economics and the viability of anything that you're trying to do. You need to have a team that can ably deliver all these four things. Doesn't mean that you need four people. Could be someone who could be doing two things. There could be five people, and two people could be doing the same thing. Whatever that is, you really need to have all these bases covered, because no matter how good an idea is, if I come on your platform and I don't find it easy to maneuver, if the technology at the back end is not supporting it, if unit economics are not working, and you're trying to disrupt something and you will continue to lose money, it doesn't work. So you really need to have the right team behind it after you've, the idea and the problem and win-win for everyone. It's the second greater element, is the team that you need to have. If you don't have a team, then it will actually, my idea might be great, but someone else will be doing it, because you will not be able to deliver it. You will not be able to work on it. You will not be able to get traction on it, or you will not be able to grow from wherever you started. So those two elements are, in my opinion, the most important things that you need to have. And I'm hoping that you have those two covered. Once you have these two elements of team and problem solution covered, I think the next thing obviously is to create a great pitch deck. I've spoken at sessions where what should a good pitch deck be. There's no one size fits all doesn't work. It doesn't have to be problem, solution, market, size, revenues, unit economics, fund required, team. It doesn't have to be in that order. It can be in any order. So think of it as making movies. So if you see movies, you'll see sometimes the movie starts in the present, goes into flashback. Sometimes it starts way back, it goes forward. Sometimes it starts with like a James Bond movie starts with like a, right before the credits come, it's like a wow, it just starts with the bang. So you see what is right for you. Do you want to build a story and then say wham, or you want to start with the best thing that you have and then create the story around it? It's absolutely up to you whether you want to start with, but you should have my attention as a jury member. Forget as an investor, as a jury member in the first 1 minute. If I lose my focus and I'm looking around, or I'm looking at my phone, or I'm looking bored in the first 1 minute, then you have lost it. So your first 1 minute should have enough reasons for me to listen to the next 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, whatever you want to speak. If you don't get my attention in the first 1 minute, the chances are I will not be able to rate you at a level that I would have rated you. So flow of the pitch has to be absolutely right, and it depends on what you're doing. So someone could say, imagine if I were to digitize entire India and there would be no cash record. You want to start with the statement, that's great. So all that is very, very critical. And you should leave people with wanting to invest, wanting to ask questions. You're saying I'm ready for questions does not make sense. You should say I'm ready to digitalize India. I'm ready to make you buy from my website. Whatever you are trying to do, you should sell that and end that. Questions will happen. Questions will follow. The moderators will deal with that. You are selling an idea. You're selling a problem. You're selling your team. You're selling a product. Continue doing that till the very end, because that will tell me that you are passionate about what you're doing. If you let go at the very end and say, I'm ready for questions, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. That doesn't happen. Don't leave that slide. Leave it with your product. Leave it with your smile. Can I give you this service? Would you want to register? I will register. Do something that would make me smile at the end of the presentation, so that I'm happy, irrespective of how bad you are, how bad your product is, or bad the pitch was. But if I, at least try and savor something when you flow. So that's something that's very critical, because in online sessions, pitching and pitch becomes a very, very critical idea. We don't go into technical diligence. We don't go into UI, UX as much during the pitch. We don't go into detailing of whether market validation is actually real, or how good is the market validation. We go by what we think our mind would tell us. So I think the pitching plays or the pitch deck plays a very, very important role in online sessions, and especially when you get 5-10 minutes to pitch. So it's very, very critical that you're good with your story, you speak well, you convey the problem statement, you highlight what your strong points are, if it's traction, if it's the idea, if it's the revenue, if it's a product, if it's the validation, if it's your story of fighting something and coming out of the woods, and you needed it and you did not have that and you're providing that. So whatever that connect that you might have, those strong points should be highlighted. And that's the third thing that I would like to tell you when you're trying to compete. Obviously, everything else is important, and I will not go deeper. I will let that be over question answers if anyone has, but proof of concept is very, very important. If you don't have a product ready, if you don't have the app ready, and suddenly I say, what is it on the Google Play Store? Is it on the App Store? Is it available? What is the website? What is the URL? All that is very critical. Competition. Competition is such an important slide, that no matter what problem that you're trying to solve, I know someone who's already doing it. So when people reach where I am, we listen to pitches on a daily basis. I mean, at least 5 to 10 people pitch to us on a daily basis. We know everything that's happening across the ecosystem, and that's just India, forget the world. Sometimes people are exposed to global startups also. So if you miss a competition that I know of, you've had it. You will not get the score that you want to deserve. So you have to do a thorough research on your competition. And competitions, it is not just direct, it's indirect competition. For everything that you do, Google is your competition, if you ask me. They'll probably end up doing something, they'll probably acquire some small company and they'll do what you're trying to do, if it is in the system of where AI, ML, or whatever is being done. So you have to be very, very conscious of the fact that you know your direct competition, and please don't miss out anyone if of any relevance. And if there are multiple regional people trying to do regional stuff, then there could be competition in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, or West Bengal, but doesn't matter. You should know that there are many people who are regionally available, but your core strength and what is the differentiator, that is what it is. I mean, the slide looks very pretty with all green in front of your name and green, red across all the people. It doesn't make sense if you don't know the answers to why is that company not good enough and why is that important. And if you are green and they are cross, why is this green element important? Do I need that actually? I mean, I've seen people pitch to us where they say, oh, we have one thing element extra. We actually give points for loyalty. Well, is it important? Is it important for me or not? So sometimes it is important when it's a long-term relationship and I need to buy on a daily basis or a weekly or a monthly basis, it makes sense. But if it's a one-time fee and you are a cancer cure and you're working with the hospital, points really don't matter to me at that point of time. For me, saving my life for lesser money with the best facilities is what is needed at that point in time. So you really have to understand what works. And I'm just giving these points as an example because there are sometimes tick marks on the sheet which really don't make sense, which a consumer doesn't really care much for, because for him or her, the product and the service is far more important. So all these things are very, very critical in my sense. So I think that's something that's also needed. Then, obviously, once you have the POC, once you have a good UI, UX, and everything is good, then you have to see validation. If you don't go out in the market and if you don't have data to validate what you have created, are there people going to pay revenue? If your revenues that you're creating, the unit economics that you're creating, are they actually workable? Are people going to pay 10,000 rupees or 1,000 rupees or 1 rupee for what you're providing them? You have to make sure that you have launched it, you have worked on it, and you have data to back that up. And why are you saying that? And I'll tell you why you need this revenue and this validation in terms of people paying for it for at least a few months, for at least a few thousand people. If you are in B2C, a few 10,000s of people, but if you're in B2B, a few hundred people would do. So depending on how large the market size is, the numbers need to be very, very critical. You need to at least get some percentage of the market size in your geography, not the global market or not the India market. But if you're in Jaipur or in Jodhpur or Udaipur or Kota, you need to have that geography covered for a decent enough number. Otherwise, it is not validation enough, because it doesn't work if you have the validation is by your college and your students only. It has to be validated by other college students, other cities preferably, well-to-do colleges, not so well-to-do colleges, government colleges, and just so that there is demographics that are covered. So it's very, very critical because not only will it give you insights on what you need to do, it will make you stronger on confidence. But when we come to the last point where your ask and valuation are important, these data will be important. So it's very critical that you have this data, because this will give you how much money do you need, how difficult it is to retain people, how difficult it is to work on the unit economics, how you've grown from 100 to 1,000 and you needed X amount of money. So from 1,000 to 10,000, how much money is needed? So all that, because you can say, I need 1 crore for 10 crore valuation. It doesn't make sense. You really have to know why you need 1 crore. You can be off by 10, 20%. That's okay. Valuation can be off by 20, 30%. It's okay because it's perceptive. But if you don't have this data of 6 months, and I can ask you, why do you need 1 crore? I can do this for free. I think you're so good, your technology is so good, you are saying there's no competition or you're better than the competition. I will turn around and say, fine, you don't need money. You can just launch it and Sheenu will refer to Pradeep to Vishal to Kailash. Everyone will refer. You don't need money. So that is where you need to have those numbers ready, and numbers are validated by your revenues in the last few months. So you really need to, you have a few months. If you have the product ready, you might as well start to test it. Even if it's a freemium model, are people joining in? Are people logging in? Are people active? Even if you're not getting any revenue, but if there's traction, if those analytics are available, it will tell you how important it is and how much revenues you will eventually get. So those critical elements are needed for you and for you to validate the ask that you might have. Because if I start to grill you on your ask and you don't have answers or data to validate that, it doesn't work. And everything doesn't have to be on a pitch deck, whatever I'm saying. It should be all behind it. You should be ready with it. Or most importantly, it should be all in your head. Because I can question you on anything that I feel that there is a weak link there, and I will just get there and I will try to dissuade you. And one jury person getting into an argument or debating with you influences other people. So you have to be very, very careful on how you answer, how you handle a question. If you have not done it, how do you admit you've not done it? Or what is the data behind it? What is the research? Is there statistics that you have that are available? Whatever that might be. So that ask, and of course valuation is a totally different chapter, but valuation is not critical. You can easily say at a pitching competition level that valuation is not decided. This is the ask, where we are trying to raise money today, and we are open to ideas on valuation because we don't know what our valuation should be at this point of time. And when you pitch to us at TiE India Angels, which will happen eventually if you reach a certain level and you're validated by all the people who are part of the program, you will see then valuation comes, and then reaching out and having valid reasons will be far more important. So I personally feel that should be your knowledge, core strength, team, all the other parameters that you need to have, and then the flow of the pitch, and question answers and relative details on competition, on ask, on fund flow, on revenue, on unit economics. All that should be ready in your head on the pitch deck. If unit economics is your strength, then unit economics. If whatever is your strength should be on the pitch deck. You should try not to exceed your time limit. You should be ready to answer all the questions. If 2 of you are co-founders or 3 of you are co-founders, it's absolutely okay to be there together, but it's preferred if one person pitches, other people are there to answer. A technology person can answer the technology, the CFO can answer the financial questions, and if you are the marketing and sales and you're good at speaking and you're speaking, it's fine, absolutely fine in whatever you're doing. But that's how, in a gist, I would like to say pitch competitions are happened. I mean, TiE University is one platform where you have access to such a huge organization of startups from world over. All of us, from Sheenu to Pradeep to everyone, are volunteers. We don't charge anything. We give our time for free. We help you reach a certain level. This is our mandate to give back. So you couldn't be in a better environment where there's no sweat, there's no advisory, there's nothing that you need at this point in time on this platform, and you will learn a lot. Even if you don't qualify, even if you don't reach the finals, you will actually be learning a lot. And these workshops that happen globally, there are talks that happen, there are question answers and we're always available. You can reach out to Arun and he can reach out to us, or you can connect to any of us, and we'd be more than happy to help you in your journey as a startup. But our idea is to make you better than what you are. Our idea is to take you to a different level. Not everyone can win, but everyone should participate. Everyone learns a lot, and we're hoping that we will create impact, one startup at a time, one college at a time, one city at a time. And I'm wishing everyone the very best for the incoming competition. I've seen the top 6 last week. From investment point of view, we have a call tomorrow. I'm doing a one-on-one mentoring with all 6 of them, 15 minutes each, to tell them why they are not investable and why they have to be ready and what they have to do to be investable in 3 to 6 months. And I'm hoping that they will be there, because their products, their service, their team is absolutely stunning. It's just that they are not investable at this point in time for one reason or the other. And we are deep diving into all of that. And this is last year's cohort. These are the 6 finalists from Eastern part of the world, which is India, etc., etc. Mostly India, I think. Pradeep would know more. But I think it's something that's very, very critical, and you're in the right place. So I wish you all of the luck. Please do give in as much time as possible. I'll be happy to answer any questions once Sheenu is done over with the blue book or the process that you need to follow. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mahavir. I really love that statement. When you said that you stop with the presentations and with a straight face, you say, I'm ready to take questions, but you said you have to leave it at a spot where people are very, very excited about the project and they want to ask you a whole lot of questions to know more about these startups. So I think that's the biggest takeaway for me actually today. Thank you so much. From my side, I would also like to add, before I come to the Blue Book and to Pradeep, when you do your market research, normally you would go for a convenient sampling. And I would say that, yes, you're entrepreneurs, you're into the tech space, you're building a product, you're building a startup, but also please go back and read how research is done, because you have to pick up a truly representative sample of your target market. Because if you do not do that, then you're getting the wrong metrics in your go-to-market initial research. So I'll leave that thought with you. I'll come back to Pradeep. Pradeep is a charter member of TiE Coimbatore, and he is also part of the TiE Global University Management team. Thank you so much for joining in, Pradeep. And I'm going to refer to the Blue Book, but I would like you to say a few words before we take that up on screen. And I would be quite honored if you actually talk about the Blue Book rather than I do it. So over to you. Arun, could we have it on the screen, please? Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much, Sheenu. Honored to be here. And thank you so much, Mahavir, for lucidly putting across the whole ecosystem. And boys and girls, if that's the word I can use for all of you. Mahavir is a humble person, but there's a lot of experience and achievements behind him. So don't go by the humility that you can see on the screen. There are people who would vie to get an appointment with him and don't get it. So you guys are lucky that you have got it. Not to flatter Mahavir, but that's the truth. And I think that's the whole truth about the TiE ecosystem as well. You have entrepreneurs who are trying to give back. And just to validate what Sheenu said, I think some of you were there on the workshop with me. My first business failed. I lost around 50 lakh rupees for the simple reason that I didn't do any market research before I started the product. I thought everyone will buy my product, and in 9 months, 0 was sold. And I think that was the biggest lesson that I learned about market research and why it is so important to understand who your customer is. It's also an emotional connect to talk at Rajasthan, because Rajasthan is the place where, how do I say, I matured as a person. I studied in Ganganagar between 7th and 10th. So it's like, the real life starts at that age. And so Rajasthan has a very close connect to my heart. So coming back to the Blue Book, it is kind of a one-stop shop for you to understand everything about the TiE University. Yes.
Somehow I'm not able to share the screen. If you can do this at your end, please. I've shared at the.
I will do that. Just give me a second. Let me pull it up then.
So while Pradeep, you're pulling that up on screen, there were 3 points that I wanted to mention, and I would love it if Mahavir could take these up after the Blue Book is discussed. One would be how important it is to scale for a startup as compared to a conventional entrepreneur's business. The second would be that rather than cutting out the competition, also is it possible to somehow build your business model in such a manner that you leverage on the existing ecosystem. So, you make them partners and you sort of take everybody along, and your business model is like that. And the third is the social impact that a startup can create with what he does. So, yeah, Pradeep.
Cool. Should we let Mahavir answer that, and then I move on to the Blue Book?
बूढ़ा आदमियों भूल जाऊंगा प्रदीप.
हाँ, इसलिए मैं वही बोला. मन की बात छीन लिया आपने.
So yeah. So I mean, doing business, profitability, unit economics is great. I mean, that's what a businessman is. That's what entrepreneurship is, and we are all entrepreneurs, and that's fine. But scalability in a startup, or the possibility of scalability, is a very, very critical element. And scalability, in my layman's definition, is that if I was spending 10 rupees to sell a product worth 100 rupees, if I had to sell 1,000 rupees worth of product, I don't need to spend 100 rupees, because that's obvious that anyone can do it. If I can sell 1,000 rupees of product by spending 20 rupees, so every 2x of my effort, and this does not just mean money, it means your time, energy, manpower, bandwidth. If every time I grow at least 5 to 10 times my business gross revenue, the top line, it is scale. That's what my definition of scalability is. If the potential to scale up with a small effort, much lower effort, is much easier, that is what scalability is, and that's what defines or differentiates a business from a startup ecosystem. And that's where your disruption word or has arrived, or the fact that this is the new definition of a startup, in my opinion. That's something very, very critical. The second question was social impact. So I'll tell you, everything doesn't revolve around money. Everything doesn't revolve around profitability. If you are trying to create a social impact, if you're in a domain where thousands and thousands of people and millions of people will get benefited, and you're breaking even, or you're sustainable and you're viable, it actually is a great idea. It's a better idea than making 10-20% net on whatever you are selling. If you are able to sustain what you're doing, and your model is such that you will go to a gram panchayat and you will empower them, and their revenues and their monies are break even, and you have to do one gram panchayat at one at a time, and you can go across India, it's absolutely a better idea to me than making 10% or 20% net or gross margin. So it's social impact, the numbers that you can reach out to, and the sustainability in case of a social impact is not losing money. If you are breaking even with what's available in the ecosystem, you're breaking even with whatever grants that you're getting from nonprofits, and reaching out to the right people, and you're solving a problem through technology, of course, because scalability will only come through technology, and you are empowering that village, that person, that community, that area with something that's far better than what exists. I think that's a better idea, in my opinion, than profitability alone, because that will have a much larger impact and valuation than anyone else has. And there are multiple examples, and one of them is, I love to give the example of Fool, which is the agarbatti that's made out of the flowers that go into temples and mosques, etc., and recycled flowers. And they have a model that they have created around communities building agarbattis out of those flowers and recycling those flowers. And it's a great impact and great story. So I think that's something very good. What was the third question, Sheenu?
Yeah, the third question was that instead of recreating competition, how about having a business model which picks up on the leveraging pieces in the ecosystem and takes everybody together, because then everybody becomes a stakeholder in your business model?
Absolutely. So एक बड़ी simple सी बात है, लड़ाई तो कभी करनी नहीं चाहिए, because you can't compete with giants. You can't compete with people who are bigger in size than you. What do? You backward integrate with them or forward integrate with them, or you say, let's go do a three-legged race, and let me make you run faster, or let me help you carry some weight for you. You're the big brother, you are the boss. You run with this, and give me 10 kgs out of 100 kgs, and I'll do that better for you, and I'll service you. The scalability, the market outreach, the cost of customer acquisition, because that person already has visibility. That person already exists. That person has revenues, and so it's very, very easy, and it's much easier to scale up than to scale up on your own, or trying to compete with what they're doing and say, oh, Facebook can't do it and I can do it, and Insta. So you have to be very, very clear that you have to fight your battles that you can win. If there's a battle that you think your bandwidth spent in ROIs or return is not enough, I would partner with that person or that community and use them to go ahead and move forward. So it's absolutely whatever works for you is the right mantra, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thanks. That was brilliant. Thank you so much, Mahavir, for that clarity. Pradeep, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheenu. So let me share my screen. Here is, yeah. Can Arun just confirm if you can see the blue book cover?
Yep, I can.
Awesome. Cool. So the blue book is primarily like a go-to guide for all of those of you who are participating in the pitch competition. It's a one-place resource with all the rules and regulations, learning material that you would need. Once I finish speaking, I will also put the bit.ly on the chat so you guys can access it. It's available online, accessible to everyone. Primarily, what it covers is basically a little bit about what the pitch competition is about. What are you going to win? $50,000 of cash prize for the first prize is something that really is worth it for you to put in all your heart and mind and soul, and other intangible benefits that you're going to get through the competition. A little bit about TiE, so you feel proud about being part of the largest network of entrepreneurs in the world. I think this line from these teams summarizes exactly what the TiE ecosystem is. If it were not for the TiE ecosystem, our idea would have stayed the same, an idea. So if you have an idea and you think it has to see the world, probably this is the first step that you can take for it. And then we get into the competition in terms of the timeline overall as to what is it that you're going to be going through. The registration form, of course, a bit late for this. Other chapters that are connecting. The reason this might be relevant for you is to see if you can collaborate with, like just Mahavir said, I look at a person in another country as my collaborator and not my competitor. You may be struggling on one part of your business, which could be from one of the teams that's probably in Stanford, and you can collaborate with them as your peer in the TiE ecosystem. This folder called the bit.ly/TiE Pitchfest will take you to a drive where you have a lot of learning material, videos from workshops done in the past, some real examples from the teams that have participated earlier, and so that you get understanding on that. Overall, how the program works, what mentoring is. I think this is the biggest takeaway that you can actually take from this competition. Mentoring, where people who have been there, done that, entrepreneurs will share their experiences and thoughts on your business and kind of handhold you so that you move stronger and become bigger and better. The format for the pitching, the rules and regulations, how are you going to be scored? What does each of those scoring mean? These are the 6 points that you will have to really work on when you're working on your business model and your pitch. There's a knowledge section which talks about the business model canvas. This weekend, we have a business model canvas workshop for all of you. For the East, I think it's on Saturday. So please do register if you haven't already done. There are templates, click them. Every page has like a clickable link, so it's easy for you to click on them, get those templates, a business plan summary, content of the business plan summary, a pitch deck. Those of you who were there with my workshop last week, the entire pitch book is here. You click on it and it'll open up into a PDF that has everything that you need to know about the pitch deck with explanations and examples for each of those parts that we covered. And then also some parts of or some indications on what you need to learn in the next 2 months. These are kind of the broad topics every startup should be clearly aware of, and a little bit about the competition. And of course the links to our social media. So जैसा हिंदी सीरियल में बोलते हैं, जाइएगा नहीं, हाजिर होंगे ब्रेक के बाद, हमारे चैनल को लाइक कीजिएगा, शेयर कीजिएगा, नीचे वाला बेल बटन दबाइएगा, kind of things. Do share, follow the Instagram profile and the LinkedIn profile, because a lot of exciting stuff that keeps coming there that can help all of you. So that's it from my side, Arun. All the best to everyone who's part of this competition.
Thanks very much, Pradeep. Thanks very
you.
much. We are now going to open for Q&A. Please ask the questions that you're sort of bubbling with. And while somebody breaks that ice, we'll have 2 sessions. One will be on ideas that win, executions at scale by Mr. Aditya of Far Network. He's an angel investor. He's a young chap, and I think you will identify a lot with what he's doing, because he's like Mahavir says, that this group of angel investors, they're meeting startups regularly and they really know what a winning startup should be doing. And the second is going to be an interactive session with one of our previous winners, Mr. Dhaval, and he's going to be talking about market strategies, and you can discuss all to your heart's content with him. So let's have some question and answer sessions with Mahavir and with Pradeep. Feel free to type your questions in the chat box. Yeah.
Cool. Yes. I just wanted to add one point to all of you, and this is my observation from having been part of this competition for the last 2-3 years. सब कुछ मिलेगा, सिर्फ एक चाहिए कि पूछना पड़ेगा. Just ask and you will get. And I'm not joking. I'm sure if you reach out to Sheenu and ask her to guide you on your startup, she will at least spend 15-20 minutes trying to help you out. And all this across the globe, you have people waiting to help you out, but you will have to probably reach out to Arun. Arun has put his email ID there and ask for help. I think one of your, I think there was one Shivam. I can see two Shivams here, one Shivam Gaur and one Shivam Singh. So I don't know, one Shivam reached out to me yesterday, sent his deck, said, sir, can you have a look at it? I spent 5 minutes. I told him that I'll look deeper and I'll get back to you. So we will try our best to do what we can so that you guys can mature as startups. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. Do we have any teams here who are already in the market, who already have a prototype, working prototype?
Deveshri, you can please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Good evening. I'm Deveshri. I'm founder of Dr. Planet A. We are working on solving a problem which affects more over 100 crores of Indians who are residing in tier 2 and 3 cities, and by providing them accessible and affordable healthcare facilities. Hello? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, 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 you are. You are. Yeah.
So basically, we are a network which connects hospitals with doctors so that hospitals are able to provide better facilities for their patients. So in total, there are around 69,000 hospitals in India, out of which 43,000 are private hospitals. That's nearly 2/3 of the total hospitals. And out of them, around 70 to 80% of them are small hospitals. And these are the ones who cannot afford full-time specialist doctors. By specialist doctors, I mean a physician, gynecologist, and pediatricians. So
Sorry, what would, yeah, I'm sorry. Could we come to the question? Perhaps then we can better understand the context of what you're telling us.
Yes, ma'am. So we are having currently a working prototype and would like to know how we can get help from your network to make collaboration with companies so that we can provide more facilities for our users. Hello?
Mahavir, are you there?
Yeah. So what have you done so far?
Yeah, so till now, we have released our initial prototype and have tested it with over 200 plus doctors and hospitals in and around Jaipur districts.
And what are the doctors saying?
Yeah, we received a great response and from the doctors, and they are really interested in getting the calls, what we call, are interested in serving around those small hospitals.
What is the challenge?
Yeah, the challenges are the initial onboarding. For the initial onboarding, we have to keep a third party who will have to verify all the credentials and certifications of the doctors.
So what is the, why can't you will have to keep it, you will have to keep it, then you have to keep it. Then what is
Yes.
I mean, there's no shortcut to this. Is there a
Yes,
shortcut?
I know. No, I'm not saying it. Can have. It is a thing which is necessary, but then our service charges, our revenue from this is not going to be scale up that high. So we would also like to collaborate with those medical devices companies and startups.
So see, you will have to understand. I'll tell you.
Yes, sir.
TiE is a platform where we can mentor you, tell you how to
Yes,
go about doing it. Now,
Yes.
trying to get the medical devices companies or pharmaceutical companies or hospitals, that's something that you will have to do. We can
Yes, sir.
tell you whether it's going to work for you or not work for you, because
Yes, sir.
sometimes certain industries are okay with joining it. So let's say Sheenu has a hospital, she can tell you what will work for medical devices company and what will not work. Now, if your model is a win-win for you and the device company, then
Yes.
you would have to do it yourselves. We can only tell you whether this might work or might not work.
Yes, sir. For that, I would like to take your mentorship and advice.
We'll give you all that mentorship so just write specific, I'd like to look at your pitch deck. I would
Yes,
like to
sir, sir.
understand your this thing. Just email that to me and put your questions, and I will be happy to answer. Arun, please connect her to me. No problem.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Mahavir.
Hmm.
We have about 7 minutes left, and Mahavir it's very difficult to get his time. So, guys, if you have questions, if you want to make a connect right now.
Priyanka, Devang, Ujjwal, Shrikant, Chinmay, anybody has got any question to ask regarding the program structure?
इतना शर्मा हो गए तो दुनिया कैसे बदलोगे भाई?
Hello.
Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
Hello. Greetings to everyone. Hi, Pradeep sir. I was the one who sent you the pitch deck last night, and thank you for the response. Sir, what I wanted to ask was that our product is the thing that you said about.
response मिल गया तो अभी क्यों माथा खा रहा है मेरा?
नहीं सर, रिस्पॉन्स वो नहीं, मैं तो कुछ मतलब प्रोटोटाइप से रिलेटेड पूछा था, क्योंकि अभी प्रोटोटाइप का ही पूछा था मेरे से प्रीवियस।
बोलो।
हाँ सर, तो मतलब जैसे अगर जो आपने बोला था कि सारे सब जितनी भी इन्वॉल्व पार्टीज है सबका बेनिफिट होना चाहिए, तो इन केस अगर एक मतलब कस्टमर भी फेसिंग एंड प्लस बिजनेस फेसिंग दोनों साइड का काम है, पर ऐसा मतलब ये कोई हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल नहीं है कि मतलब प्रोटोटाइप जो है वो एक साथ दोनों का रिलीज करना है, कि मतलब कस्टमर साइड का प्रोटोटाइप और बिजनेस साइड का एक साथ रोल आउट करना है और सारा रिस्पॉन्स एक ही साथ चेक करना है।
ऐसा कोई जरूरी नहीं है। सो बिल्कुल ठीक बात है। तो जरूरी नहीं है कि दोनों साइड का प्रोटोटाइप और दोनों टाइप की साइड की वैलिडेशन एक साथ हो। सो अगर इफ यू हैव मनी टू बर्न और इफ यू हैव इन्वेस्टर्स हु कैन इन्वेस्ट मनी एट दैट स्टेज and you can continue to acquire customers at a cost without looking at the backward integration or the backward benefit, कोई नुकसान नहीं है। आप कर सकते हो। या आपकी कॉस्ट ऑफ कस्टमर एक्विजिशन बहुत लो है और आप कहोगे मैं खुद ही कर लूंगा, then also you can do it. It just depends on what the product and how expensive a proposition is it. You don't have to have everything ready. आप दो अलग-अलग पहले एक को satisfy करके फिर दूसरे को satisfy कर सकते हो. Because I'll give you an example. I'm looking at a startup that is investing into 4 different things. Fabric वाले का fabric बेचेगा वो, दर्जी और डिजाइनर को कपड़ा बेचेगा वो, और कंज्यूमर अपने पसंद का फैब्रिक वाले से छाटेगा, कॉलर किसी और फैब्रिक का लगाएगा, दर्जी उसको कोयम्बटूर का चाहिए तो कोयम्बटूर का लेगा और डिजाइन करके वो डिजाइन जोधपुर में राघवेंद्र राठौड़ का, वो सबको कॉम्बो करके वो कर रहा है। तो ही इज सॉल्विंग 6 प्रॉब्लम्स। तो अभी उसको मैंने क्या कहा, तू पहले दर्जी को ऑनबोर्ड कर ले। दर्जी होंगे तो कपड़ा बेचने वाला भी आएगा और customer bhi aayega. So you have to pick one that is most important in the whole element. So he's trying to solve a multi-dimensional problem of a consumer able to choose the fabric, the style of the shirt or pant or coat or jacket or sari, and सिलवाना किससे और डिजाइनर कौन है, और सबको पैसे देने को तैयार है। जैसे आप एड ऑन करते रहते हो प्रोडक्ट के, मुझे डिजाइनर ये चाहिए तो प्राइस बदल जाता है, आप ये करते हो तो दर्जी चाहिए तो ये। सो ऑल दैट इज, ऑल टेक्नोलॉजी इज रेडी नाउ। ऑनबोर्डिंग के टाइम पे the core is the tailor in my opinion in this case. So I've told him tailor ko tu chalu kar pehle. So it doesn't have to be always working all of them together. You can do one thing at a time, because acquiring a designer, acquiring a fabric seller in Surat or Bhilwara is equally difficult, and maybe tailors are getting out of business because ready-made is doing better. That's an easier proposition. So I have advice. So it just depends what works for you. It doesn't one size fits all nahi hota hai. Ek ko bhi khush kar sakte ho.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Sure.
Yeah, Yuvraj, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Yuvraj and I'm the co-founder of Localize. Simply put in layman terms, Localize is a social media for a neighborhood, like a Quora for a neighborhood type of that. So we are currently launched in Jaipur right now. My question to be put forward is, like most social medias and content creation platforms, what they do is, first of all, they onboard users. And once there is a mass user base that is there on the app, that is using the app, then they go on with the advertising model or onboarding businesses and putting up ads of that. So since we are in a very early stage right now, and we have around 500 to 600 users on our platform, we don't have any as such impactful businesses on our platform which can advertise. So how important is this point when you're presenting in front of the jury? Because usually what comes in the question to us during a pitch is that अभी तक तुमने ads कितने करे हैं, या फिर तुमने कमाया कितना है अभी तक, या अभी तक revenue क्या है? And we cannot answer that because in early stage our main focus is customer acquisition rather than business acquisition. So what can be done in that stage?
Not required. I mean, that could be just a passing question. It should not be critical, in my opinion. But having said that, 500 people on a social media platform is like not having a platform.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's true.
Why a validation of 500 people on a free platform is nothing? It's zero.
Yes, sir.
So my only challenge is not the revenue, because I know revenue nahi aayega, and I have invested in a couple of social media companies, and one of the companies is saying that मैं Facebook और Instagram को हराऊंगा, and I said fine, तू हरा, but that's not the point. Revenue zero है इसका, मतलब zero क्या, मतलब उसका खर्चा महीने का 25 लाख है, revenue उसका 25,000 है, ठीक है? But he has 80,000 people in 6 months, so you have to have that kind of a growth, and 80,000 से 8 लाख होंगे, 1 लाख सवा, so you have to work, you know, सोच वैसी होनी चाहिए कि मैं 3 महीने हुए हैं, पहले महीने 500 थे, दूसरे महीने 2000 थे, अभी 5000 है, किसी की मजाल नहीं कि वो रेवेन्यू के लिए पूछेगा आपसे.
Okay, got it, sir. So like we have to make it clear in the pitch that we are not focusing on the revenue part. We are first of all focusing on just the customer acquisition part.
You don't have to say that. You says we are a social media platform. Revenue will come much later. We are not worried about that. But our month-on-month growth is 3x. बस आपकी पंचलाइन अलग हो जाएगी ना, आपका यूएसपी अलग है, आपकी 3 गुना हर महीने हो रहे हो आप. आज 500 है तो 1 साल में कितने हो जाओगे? 5 लाख. That is the multiplier. वो उसको जूरी वाला बेवकूफ नहीं है, बट वो 3 महीने 4 महीने का वैलिडेशन तो चाहिए ना मुझे कि आपकी 3x ग्रोथ है महीने की, या एवरेज 2x है, या 5x है, whatever that is.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Further questions? No questions now?
It's 5:30 anyway, Arun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are done with the session. Thanks everyone, and I'll also be writing you in with some critical information about the eligibility criteria and all. So please keep an eye on the WhatsApp group that we have created with all of you. I'll also be requesting for some documents ascertaining your eligibility for the program. So please make sure that you submit all this information to me in time frame that we provide to you. I also put information about the upcoming workshop that we have on 3rd, 5th, and 6th of this month. So request presents, and the registration links are also there. So please register in advance so that you can be a part of the workshops with much comfort.
Thank you, everyone. I have to leave. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mahavir.
He is less accept.
Right. Is Pradeep here?
Pradeep,
yeah. Pradeep, any closing remarks? Okay, so thanks everybody for joining in, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, sorry, Sheenu, my computer had no specific closing remarks. Probably just all the best to all the teams. Do well, and look forward to see you guys at the global finals sometime soon. Bye-bye.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Sheenu. Thanks, Arun. Bye.
All the best. We need to see a lot of funded startups from here now. Bye. Catch you all soon.
Thank you, Sheenu.